Hello, my name is Richard Kent. Today I wanted to talk about the physics of the Transfiguration of Jesus Christ. You remember this amazing occasion when Jesus went up to a high mountain and was transfigured before his disciples. Let's just actually read the scripture. The scripture actually comes from Matthew 17, starting at verse 1. After 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter, James and John, the brother of James, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. There he was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became as white as the light. Just then there appeared before them Moses and Elijah talking with Jesus. Peter said to Jesus, "Lord, it is good for us to be here. If you wish, I will put up 3 shelters, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." While he was speaking, a bright cloud covered them, and a voice from the cloud said, "This is my son whom I love. With him I am well pleased. Listen to him." When the disciples heard this, they fell face down to the ground, terrified. But Jesus came and touched them. "Get up," he said. "Don't be afraid." When they looked up, they saw no one except Jesus. So here we have the account of how Jesus was actually transfigured before the main 3 disciples. And something really, really extraordinary happened. His body changed. And it says his body shone like the sun, in fact brighter than the noonday sun. Now the sun is seriously bright. You probably know that if you were to very unwisely look at the sun, by the way don't, but if you did it would burn your retina because it's so bright. The reason it's so bright is there's nuclear fusion going on in the sun, but we won't talk about that right now. But something similar was going on inside Jesus's body. Now in theoretical physics, if you are traveling at the speed of light, you are then in eternity. I'll say that again. It's not possible normally for a man to travel at the speed of light. But if you were to travel at the speed of light, you would actually be in eternity. Now I'm suggesting to you that the molecules of Jesus' body were now traveling at the speed of light, which is why Jesus' body, his face, his whole body was brighter than the sun, and he was actually in eternity. How do we know he was in eternity? Because Moses and Elijah appeared with him. So Jesus actually was then in eternity when he was in a time warp. The correct word is an event horizon, when the normal laws of physics cease to apply. Jesus was actually outside time. He was in eternity, and the next time you and I see Jesus in eternity, he will appear like that, as bright as the noonday sun. He was actually so bright that the light shone through his clothes. Now, the 3 disciples, they wanted to make, it says in the English version, a shelter. The word is a tabernacle. You remember there's a feast of tabernacles, and they were quite used to making little tents, which are holy places really. One for Moses, one for Elijah, one for Jesus Christ. And that's when God the Father spoke from heaven and said, "This is my beloved Son, listen to him." But it's very interesting about the physics of the Transfiguration. I believe that Jesus was actually in eternity. The molecules of his body were moving at the speed of light. And that's actually what's going to happen to us when we get to eternity. We'll be outside time in eternity with Jesus Christ, Moses and Elijah. Thanks for listening, and God bless you.